Hello guys, Tengu here. We're back with some more Doll's Nest post-game builds. So before we begin, I'd like to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you have any questions or concerns about this build, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. So without further ado, let's check out the Merrygate build. So first off, we have the drag as our mobility module. We have the Savcan as our headset module. We have the drag as our hanger module. We have the goggle as our thruster module. We have the drag again as our utility module. We have the arrowhead as our primary arms 1. We have the LPR as our primary arms 2. We have the gun ears as our rear arms right. And we have the Gosm as our rear arms left. Also, if you're wondering what colors I'm using for my frames, I'll let you take a look at the values I'm using. So here's our main. And for our primary arms, I'll start off with the main again. And for our rear arms, I'll start off with the main again and let you guys take a look at these once more. And if you're wondering what base I'm using, or rather body parts I'm using the OGM for my face. I'm using the OGM again for my back hair. I'm using the OGM again for my front hair. And for the body, I'm using the Dagara prototype assault humanoid form. So I should note that a lot of these body parts are from the costume DLC, volume 1. So if you don't have the costume DLC, then well, probably better off using something else. But yes, I'm mostly using I'm entirely using the costume body set or DLC. So for the colors I'm using for the humanoid form, I'm going to go ahead and just run through all of this very quickly because well, I'd rather not talk your ears off about this. So let's start off with the skin color. So, with all of the specs out of the way, let's go ahead and take this build for a spin. Alright, so we're here at the accumulation zone. So yeah, if any of you guys are wondering what this build's all about, well, this build is actually based off of, well, not exactly of a frame, but of an armored core, particularly a next from Armored Core for Answer. So if any of you guys actually played that game, you probably might have ran into a pilot known as May Greenfield. You might have ran into a pilot named May Greenfield in Armored Core for Answer, if you actually played that game. That game's actually pretty old, but, well, I still think it's a pretty good game, personally. But a lot of this build is actually, yeah, just based off of her next build, aka the Merrygate. I tried to actually look for a weapon that actually replicates her vertical missile launch system, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to find anything in our arsenal to do that. So I decided to go with the Gosm. No, I could have gone with that one missile pod. I forgot what it was called. It's the one that launches vertically. I could probably check after I deal with this. There we go. Alright, give me 1 second. The grams. Yeah, probably could have just ran with the grounds, but I realized I haven't really done anything with the Gothams today, so I decided to check it out. So yeah, the Gothams are kinda good, but the damage leaves a lot to be desired. Against physical resistant enemies, you might have trouble using the Gotham against them, but against enemies that aren't too resistant against physical, you should do a fair bit of damage against them. Not a lot, though. I say as I completely messed. Yeah, it's one thing I keep in mind with the Gothams. You're not particularly good at dealing with ground enemies. If anything, only busts up the Gothams when you actually need them, or if you're running into flying enemies. As for the Gunniers, they're kind of trying to test it, so I decided to roll those. And by the way, yeah, this entire build is heavily based off of Merrygate. If I do recall, I think the Merrygate had like vertical launching missiles and just regular missiles. Whereas the vertical launching missiles tend to fire pretty quickly on the actual Merrygate. On this one, it kind of fires in a burst, so it's kind of close enough, I guess. Also, this build is heavily resistant. I didn't really go over the stats. I might as well just go over them now, but as you can probably see on my armor, I have over 20,000 physical resistance points, over 14,000 thermal resistance points. Yeah, let's just say this build is quite tanky. Yeah, you're not gonna be dying anytime soon against physical enemies, at least. Also, as for the primary arms, I decided to go for the bazooka. And the arrowhead as well, aka the AK, because one, the Merrygate actually does use a bazooka rifle. And I completely missed that. And as for the rifle, I decided to go with something that can easily mop up enemies, because this build is very BP hungry. Mostly because of its arms, so yeah, you're gonna want to make sure you run something with pretty good BP efficiency. So yeah, I decided to just run the arrowhead for this. But yeah, this build is particularly tanky, but the downside with this build is it's gonna have a hard time keeping its BP up. So you'll probably be popping up, or rather popping off a lot of supplements here and there. Hopefully not too much. Hopefully not too much. But yeah, as far as this build is concerned, I feel like this is basically the Merrygate. If the Merrygate decided to trade a little bit more of its speed for more armor. That's probably the best way to sum this build up in Doll's Nest. Basically the Merrygate, but I traded speed for armor. But hey, that's the whole point of the Merrygate. It's supposed to be your shield. But you be its sword. Whoever decides to make a build that's not the Merrygate. That is. But suffice to say, this is a pretty well armored build, but at the same time, you're gonna be starved for EP a little bit. So yeah, make sure to pump up a little bit on EP when you're modifying your humanoid. Because again, this thing is going to eat up quite a bit of EP, and unfortunately, you're going to have a hard time keeping that BP up. Or, sorry, EP up. Oh, and your EP. As you can see, my EP is turning a little bit. If anything, you kind of want to rely on your arrowhead a lot for the smaller enemies. I haven't been doing a good job with that here, but I need to try out this build anyways. Yeah, with the LPR, you kind of want to just use it like, well, kind of like the Outlet, or the Dozel. Kind of want to jump up and then fire a shot right next to your enemy, so you get hit by the splash damage. Because when it comes to actual grenade launchers and bubble launchers, it's not the direct hit that actually counts. It's actually the oh, no, right. Oh, never mind. It's actually the splash damage that you want to take into account, because that's your real damage right there. But yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I was thinking about using the damned over the Sapcan as my headset, but that side, the Sapcan tends to be a little bit more, I would say, brand new, so I decided to just run with that. You know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind at all. For the rockets. Time for me to mess with the rockets. Oh. Thanks for killing your friend over there. But yeah, this thing is very BP heavy. As you can see, I'm gonna need to pop up with supplement pretty soon. As such. But yeah, if anything, it might have been wiser to switch for Zach or Luricon, but I decided to just double down on armor with this build because there's one thing you should know about the Merrygate. It's, well, very, very tanky. Well, against physical, or rather, ballistic weapons, that is. Not so much against beam type weapons or energy weapons. And this one's kind of similar in that regard, but let's be honest, I think that's like quite a bit of frontal armor. You're not gonna be having that much trouble against thermal type weapons. Well, that is until you probably go into the Royal Guard fight, but then again, that fight has other problems. Apart from what can I call it? Oh yes, thermal attacks. Oh, lots of other problems I don't want to talk about because the more I think about it, the more I kind of feel a little bit depressed about it. Oh, that fight could have been good if it was optimized, but oh well. But regardless, yeah, this particular build is pretty strong. It has very good frontal armor. I think the only real weakness this build has is poor, or slightly poor back defense. But apart from that, yeah, I feel like the back defense is something to be too concerned about. Like, you might want to watch out for thermal attacks from the rear, but if anything, it's not too big of a deal, like just facing your enemies. Like, most of the time in this game, you kind of want to just keep facing your enemies, no matter what. If they shoot you from the front, well, then they shoot you from the front, it's not a big deal. You. Oh, I hit you. Oh, you're going. Oh, you're trying to get to me. Oh, okay, no, I'll just let you go. I'll rescind my comments on that enemy. If anything, I'll just leave them be. But anyways, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the Merrygate build. So yeah, it's a pretty tanky build. Will I use this for a serious Doll's Nest? Well, for like serious Doll's Nest gameplay, probably not. Mostly because this build is kind of slow. Like, it has good armor, but at the same time, if you're getting hit by 1,000 cuts, well, you're just gonna be losing a lot of health regardless. If anything, it's better to be mobile than just to tank everything. So with that in mind, I probably wouldn't recommend this build for like a serious playthrough. It probably could make it work if you're playing on normal, but given the mobility issues with this particular build, you might have trouble surviving, like some really heavy attacks. But it's kind of a somewhat fun build to play around with, I suppose. Doesn't really have anything too noteworthy. If anything, it's nothing like the Bomber's build, even though it kind of plays the same way. But at the same time, I would say it's an alright build. Just an alright build. But without further ado, I think it's time for us to end this episode here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you're watching this as... I was about to say, if you're watching this as a VOD. If you have any comments or concerns with this particular build, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below. So without further ado, this is going to be a Thank You signing off. Goodbye!